Three, and we've only done baseball so far, obviously, with the Yankee press conference. Giancarlo Stanton, Giancarlo, it's Giancarlo if you want to know how to pronounce it. That's the official, Giancarlo. Stanton is now a member of the Yankees, so obviously that's the big news in baseball. We'll do more on that in the next couple hours with Mark DeRosa. We'll have Sweeney. We'll have Eli at 5. Let me get into a little football. First, we did the Football Sunday show yesterday, which was a lot of fun. And, I mean, Mulcahy's been a home away from home. As you know, we've done a million shows there. John Murray's a good friend. That's always been our official place. I mean, and it's silly for other radio stations to try and go in there and do shows because they're not going to do shows from anyone else unless I'm long gone. So that's not going to happen. Other people have tried to get in there and do shows. Not going to happen. So they were told no shot. So, but we went in there yesterday, and I mean, the fans started lining up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, Chris, who was there, said they were tailgating. I mean, which was kind of wild. So, I mean, they were great. It was one of the most raucous, fun crowds I can ever remember. My kids had a ball. I took all my kids down there. They had an absolute ball. And, you know, we were off the air for the Giant Prix about 11:25 or so. And I stayed there till 1:30. Taking pictures with the people. They lined up. They were great. They were patient. It was unbelievable. It was the crowd was just immense. I mean, I've done a million events there. I've done Christmas things there. I've seen different events there and different functions there. I've never seen that place as jammed as it was yesterday. It was absolutely, when I drove up, the line was all the way around a block. I mean, it was unbelievable. So we thank everybody for that. And really just, the fans could not have been nicer, could not have been, more generous. They were just unbelievable. They were so nice to my kids, who had a ball. They were running down the line, handing stuff out to the people on the lines. Jack and they just had Em was there early. She had to leave, but she was there early on the day. She was up on the stage early. They were all on the show, and then Jack and I were there till the end. They were running down, handling people stuff on the line. So they were having a ball. So really, they did a great job. We thank everybody for that. We thank everyone who came out there yesterday, braved the cold, stood in the lines. I mean, you did an unbelievable job. You really did. Really amazing. And we have a couple of shows left. Obviously, Thursday we will be at the Museum of Broadcasting, the Paley Center, they now call it, on 52nd Street. And we'll do the show from there. And Thursday we will have a lot of guests on the show, a lot of people coming through the show for just to, who have been part of the show, who are just going to call. I don't even know who they are. I told them to surprise me, where they'll just say, say hello to this one, say hello. I just keep, whoever shows up, shows up. I'm not even going to know who's going to be on the line. So we're going to run a lot of people through the show. Some of them will be there live. Other ones will be on the phone. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a whole day of that on Thursday. And then Friday, it will just be myself in the studio and the callers. That's it. And I just say this because we've had a lot of requests for this. So I'm pretty much done all the newspapers. The newspapers have all done some stuff, and I've met with most of them. I mean, I did Serby and I did something on Saturday. We had breakfast together. He was asking me a bunch of questions. So from the Post, he's got something going on. The Times is doing something. Newsday's done. They've been with me all year. So. And then I just want everyone to know we're doing everything on Thursday. If anyone wants to come down, or any of the stations that haven't called yet want to be involved, the TV stations, we've had a bunch of them call. We're doing everything Thursday. I'm just saying that because we're not doing anything on Friday. So that's the only thing. So anything anyone needs on Thursday, we'll be as accommodating before or after the show as we can be. And we'll do everything. We'll be there at 11 o'clock on Thursday morning. We'll be there after the show. And then on Friday, it's just going to be myself and the guys in the studio, and that's it. And then say goodbye. And that's going to be a quiet day on Friday. Just myself and the callers. No guests on the Friday show. We got guests tomorrow. We have Piazza. When's Piazza on? Tomorrow? And Coughlin on Wednesday or tomorrow? Oh, we're still waiting on Coughlin. He's going to come on one of these shows. I'm not sure which one. And we have Eli today at 5 o'clock. Also, Mark DeRosa coming up on from the winter meetings, and Sweetie coming up from the winter meetings too. After the Yankees open, they make the winter meetings exciting right from the get-go, with obviously the Stanton stuff. Let me get to the football from yesterday, which was an ugly day. Listen, the Jets had a bad day. They had a rare bad game. Everyone has them. They haven't had many games this year where they just did a lousy job and they never got the game underway. They had one of those yesterday. It was just that kind of day. It happens. Denver was due to have a game. They have too much talent on defense to play the way they've been playing, to have the losing streak that they've had. So that shouldn't surprise anybody. It didn't surprise me yesterday. I was worried about that game from a Jets standpoint, only because that building and that team's got more talent than they had showed, having lost 8 games in a row. So, they were due for a game like that. I feel bad for McCown. It was time for them to, at 9 they were going to plan to put the backups in. Now they can put the backups in. It's time. Unfortunately got hurt. McCown did a nice job this year. This team has played hard. They didn't show up yesterday. They had one of those days. Okay, that's it. He did a good job this year, McCown. He gave you everything. If he wants to be a coach in the future, whatever his future holds, good for him. He did a very good job this year. This was just a bad effort all the way around. So it happens. And now they can look at the kids. I don't think it's going to take them anywhere. We all know they need a quarterback, and he's not on the roster. As for the Giants, this was, to me, an extremely frustrating game. The game is very, very winnable after 3 quarters. You got the game 10-10. First off, I hated the touchdown before the half. I just absolutely hated the touchdown before the half. So that's number one. And the Giants yesterday, they just gave up some unbelievably big plays in this game. But I hated the touchdown before the half. They should have gotten that half with a lead. They didn't. Your game's 10-10, but how about the throws in the third quarter on those third down plays where they drop these? These are big plays. These are plays that have to be made. I am so tired. And I understand. Now, one of them was Shepard, which is inexcusable. I know you got kids out there that I have to look at the number and then see who it is, because I don't even know who the player is on some of these. You look at their secondary now, and you look at some of these wide receivers now, and you're like, who the heck is this guy? John Mara said he had to go to the flip card. It's unbelievable how many strangers are playing for the Giants right now. And I thought yesterday at times in the first quarter, their defense made some plays. I thought Snacks made and Snacks has had too much to say this year, but I thought he made some real good hustle plays yesterday. I thought they made some plays yesterday. And you talk about a game that just got away from him in the fourth quarter. First of all, I am so tired of seeing these drops this year. This team has 37 drop passes. And yesterday, again, when he put the ball right, and Eli missed guys yesterday too, so I'm not talking about how he wasn't the culprit and make some bad throws. But he made throws that were on the mark on third down. The one's going for a big play, dropped the ball. The next one dropped the ball. Even the first interception. Come on. The Giants lead the NFL in drop passes. I think it's 37 passes they're on record as dropping this year. Come on already with these drop passes. You can't watch this team. You can't take a deep drop. Even if you try and do something off play fake and take a deep drop, they're in your grill before you ever even get a chance to set up. It's so sickening to watch. Thank God they only have 3 more games left. It's gotten impossible to watch. And then did Spags call some bad? Did he call some bad defenses? Oh man, talk about getting them wrong. You ever play a game where you call the blitz on the wrong play, and you're playing whatever the game might be of the moment. It's Madden now, whatever it was in the old days, and you're going to call the Red Dog, and all of a sudden they got it set up, and boom, it's an 80-yard touchdown. Well, that was how it was yesterday. Every time every time he called a pressure yesterday, it was the wrong pressure to call. It left them wide open and vacant, and there are the Cowboys running forever. And these Cowboys hadn't made big plays, and they're making plays down. Just unbelievable. I was surprised they didn't go on fourth down. I was considering the year. I was surprised at some of the and even admitted after the game that he made a couple of mistakes in the calls he made. And listen, I mean, they're hurting so bad. They just made so many bad coverages in the secondary and missed guys and so a game that's 10-10 turns into an ugly mess between the Cowboy big plays and the turnovers in the fourth quarter. It was a hard game to stomach. It really was. And that's the last emotion any Giant fan is going to put into this season. Eli's moment, Eli's ovation, Eli's whole thing. But that's it. The Giant fan, he's done. He has nothing left to give you now. He is going to back off. He'll be very happy if he gets the second pick in the draft. We talked about the Niners. Once they went to Garoppolo, you knew they were going to get out of your way. Now he's won 2 games. Funny how the Niners win 1 game all year. They put Garoppolo in. They won 2 games in a row on the road. Isn't that amazing? Garoppolo steps in, wins 2 games in a row on the road. The team's 1-10. Wins 2 in a row on the road. Kid's never lost a game in the NFL since he's starting. 2 at the Pats, 2 at a 1-10 team. So they have their quarterback. They're in love with their quarterback after 2 weeks. So they're not taking a quarterback. Cleveland's number 1, so who cares that they're number 1? And yesterday, I thought I was going to, because all week I said, everyone loves Cleveland. I'm picking the Packers. And I'm saying, boy, was I wrong. But I said, wait, there's always time. When they got it to 21-14, I said, you know what? When it got to 21 up, I would have bet you anything they were going to lose on a field goal. I didn't think they'd get a touchdown. They lose on a touchdown. Packers covered the points spread. Didn't deserve to. Cleveland handed it back to them yesterday. And loses that game that they had won, which if you're a Packer fan keeps you alive and has a reason now to bring Rodgers. My understanding was Rodgers was coming back anyway. He was not sitting out. So he was coming back even if they were eliminated. So the bottom line is you might as well have a reason to bring him back. Now you do. It's a faint hope. You did not like, if you are a Cowboy or a Packer fan, you did not love that Carolina won that game yesterday. Because now, when the last of the 3 teams is Seattle and the middle team is Atlanta, which holds tiebreakers over everybody. Holds tiebreakers over the Packers, the Cowboys, the Lions, Seattle. You know what? It's going to be hard for those teams to make the playoffs. I don't think they will. Most likely, you have a very good chance it could be Saints, Carolina, and Atlanta all making the playoffs. It could definitely happen. Now, they do have games against each other, but they can win their other games. That's the key. So from that standpoint, they can do that. Remember, the Saints have the Jets this week in New Orleans with a young quarterback. The Jets are not going to win that game. So the Saints get another win. Carolina comes off that big win. They come off a really big win yesterday. So that is a really big one. And the Falcons get the Bucs at home this week. So from that standpoint, you have a very good chance that all those teams are going to win again here. The Panthers and the Packers play this week. So if Green Bay wants to do anything, they're going to have to beat them. But the Packers have Minnesota after they have Carolina. And that was a big win for Carolina against Minnesota yesterday. And then the Eagles win a game against the Rams. Now, I picked the Rams. And when the Rams went ahead, I thought they had them. And give the Eagles credit, they came back. But what a devastating blow. And I felt horrible. My brother John's an Eagle fan, and I felt bad for him, but I also felt bad because you know what? When a team has a season like this, you don't want to see the rug pulled out from under them. Let somebody beat them fair and square. You don't want to see them lose their quarterback this late in the season. That's a absolutely heartbreaking defeat for the Eagles. I mean, listen, Foles isn't an automatic out, but, I mean, that's just terrible. It really is. You feel really bad for them. You really do. And a couple other things yesterday. How about Kansas City? Boy, they jumped all over the Raiders yesterday. And Andy Reid said, I knew all week I was going to win this game. Well, where were you the Jet game? the week before. I mean, but now they win that, and the Chargers win, and now you got the Chargers and Kansas City next Saturday night, prime time, when the NFL, as it always does, moves to the Saturdays. Now that's a big Saturday night game with a lot on the line. Both teams at 7-6. That is a really big game between the rampaging Chargers, who have won, and really just unbelievable.